What if I told you that two people can trip on the exact same surface at the exact same moment, and one walks away like nothing happened while the other ends up on the floor? Same tile, same age, same shoes. The difference has nothing to do with how strong their legs are, nothing to do with how careful they were walking. It comes down to one reflex, a reflex that fires in less than a third of a second, and whether your body can still trigger it fast enough when it counts. Most people over 70 have no idea this reflex even exists. And here is the part that should concern you. Researchers estimate that roughly 80% of adults over 70 have already lost most of their ability to fire it quickly enough to matter. Not because of age, not because of disease, simply because nobody ever told them it needed to be trained. But here's what I really need you to hear. This reflex is not gone. It has simply gone quiet. From years of cautious, low-demand movement that never asked it to show up. And the research is clear. With the right exercises done consistently at home, it responds. It sharpens. It comes back at 70, at 80, at 90. The pathway is still there. It just needs the right signal. Today, I'm going to give you that signal. We are going to cover exactly what this reflex is, why it fades, and 5 targeted exercises that retrain it directly. So, the next time your foot catches something, your body responds the way it was designed to in that split second before gravity wins. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. What's actually happening in your body? Here is what is really going on. Every time you lose your balance, your brain runs through 3 lines of defense in strict order. First, it tries to correct the wobble using your ankles alone. Tiny adjustments so small you never notice them happening. If that is not enough, it recruits your hips next, bending and rotating your trunk to pull your weight back over your feet. But when you tip past a certain point, too far, too fast, neither of those first 2 defenses is quick enough anymore. That is when the third and final line kicks in, the saving step. Your brain fires an emergency signal down to your leg, and one foot shoots out forward, sideways, or backward to plant a brand new base under your falling body before gravity wins. In a healthy, young nervous system, this entire sequence happens in about a third of a second. You never think about it. You never feel it working. It just fires. But after years of cautious, low-impact shuffling movement, the neural pathway that triggers this reflex grows sluggish. The muscles that power that quick step, especially the ones running along your outer hip and thigh, weaken from simple disuse. And the signal your brain sends slows down just enough that when you actually need that emergency step, it arrives late, it lands short, or it does not fire at all. That split second becomes the difference between catching yourself and hitting the floor. Here is the good news. This reflex responds remarkably well to targeted retraining even in your 80s and 90s. Your nervous system has not forgotten how to do this. It just needs to be asked on purpose repeatedly with the right kind of challenge until the pathway wakes back up. That is exactly what these 5 exercises are built to do. Each one creates a small, controlled moment of imbalance that forces your brain to practice sending that emergency signal. And every single repetition makes the next one faster. Exercise 1, the forward quick step. This is where we rebuild the most basic version of the reflex, a single fast step forward, triggered on purpose rather than by accident. Most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid this feeling. Here we are going to practice it deliberately in a safe, controlled way until the saving step becomes automatic again. Stand with a sturdy chair just in front of you, close enough to grab if needed, but try not to rely on it. Feet hip-width apart, knees soft, not locked, arms relaxed at your sides. Take a breath and let your shoulders drop. Now, slowly, let your body lean forward from the ankles, not bending at the hips, but tipping as one solid unit, like a plank, past the point where you would normally pull yourself back. Keep going just a little further until your nervous system has no choice but to throw a foot forward to catch you. Let it happen. Do not fight it and do not plan which foot moves. The moment your foot lands, plant it firmly and let your weight settle fully into that new stance before you step back to reset. That is 1 rep. Walk back to your starting position. Reset your posture Hsia and repeat alternating which foot steps forward each time. Do 8 repetitions total, 4 on each side. The part most people get wrong is hesitating right before the tipping point, pausing and catching themselves early because it feels uncomfortable to let go of control. Resist that urge. The reflex only gets faster when you actually let your body trigger it rather than stepping forward by choice. Think of the difference between choosing to step and being pulled into a step. You are training the second one. Once this feels manageable and the stepping starts to feel more automatic, try the final 2 reps with your eyes closed, which removes visual cues and forces your inner ear and leg muscles to pick up the full load. Exercise 2, lateral perturbation. Step forward falls get most of the attention, but sideways falls from reaching across a counter, turning to look behind you, or simply stepping to one side are among the most dangerous because most people have almost no trained reflex in that direction. This exercise fixes that, and it does something the ordinary side-to-side weight shift cannot. It forces your nervous system to react to an unplanned disturbance rather than a movement you have already decided to make. Stand next to a wall with your arm extended and your fingertips just barely resting against the surface. Not gripping, not leaning, just the lightest possible touch. Feet hip-width apart, posture tall, weight even between both feet. Now lift your fingertips off the wall completely. The moment your body begins to drift sideways, even slightly, even just a small lean, let one foot shoot out to the side to catch it. Do not plan which foot. Do not decide in advance. The whole point is to let the drift trigger the step on its own rather than choosing to step. The instant your foot lands, plant it firmly and hold the new stance for 2 full seconds before stepping back to center and resetting. Do 6 repetitions on each side, alternating which direction you drift each time. Rest briefly between sides. What makes this exercise so effective is that unpredictability. A movement you plan yourself never fully activates the same emergency pathway as one your nervous system has to detect and respond to on its own. Every time you lift those fingertips, you are creating a genuine moment of uncertainty, and your brain has to solve it in real time. That is exactly the environment where the saving step gets faster. As this becomes easier over the following weeks, gradually stand a little further from the wall before lifting your fingertips so the drift travels slightly more distance before your foot responds. Exercise 3. The backward recovery step. This is the direction almost nobody trains. Backward falls tend to be the most serious because you cannot see what is behind you. You cannot brace yourself, and your body simply has the least practice recovering in that direction. A chair leg you did not notice, a single step at the edge of a porch, a patch of ice just behind your heel. Any of these can send you backward before your brain even registers what is happening. This exercise begins building the reflex that catches you. Stand a few feet in front of a sturdy chair or sofa, facing away from it so that if you need to sit or catch yourself, something soft is right there behind you. Hands relaxed at your sides. Slowly shift your weight backward onto your heels until your body naturally tips past the point of control and wants to step back to recover. Let one foot reach back and plant firmly on the floor behind you, taking your full weight onto that leg. Do not rush it. Do not choose the foot in advance. Pause in that new position for 2 seconds. Feel the stability in your landing leg. Then step forward again to reset. Complete 6 repetitions, alternating the stepping leg each time. This one should start significantly smaller than the forward version. The backward direction is genuinely unfamiliar territory for your nervous system, and a small amount of honest practice in this direction does more than many repetitions of the more familiar exercises. Keep the lean shallow in the first week. Your goal is simply to let the step trigger cleanly and land with control, not to see how far back you can go. Over the following weeks, as the landing starts to feel more solid and confident, you can very gradually allow your weight to travel a little further before the step fires. That gradual progression is what keeps building the reflex without asking too much too soon. Exercise 4. Step and stick. A fast reflex is only half the job. The other half is what happens in the half second after your foot lands. Because if your body keeps wobbling, lurching, or scrambling for a second and third step after the first one, the reflex has not truly succeeded. This exercise trains that second half, the ability to lock in stability the instant your foot hits the ground, so that one saving step is enough and the fall is fully stopped right there. Set up exactly the same way as exercise 1 with a chair in front of you for safety. Lean forward from your ankles until your saving step triggers naturally and one foot steps forward to catch you, just like before, but this time the moment that foot touches the ground. Freeze every muscle in your body, absolutely still. No adjustments, no shuffling. Hold that frozen position for a full 3 seconds, feeling every small correction your ankle and hip make to hold you there. Then relax and step back to reset. Do 6 repetitions, alternating your lead foot. Pay close attention to what happens during that 3C second on hold. If you feel your body still swaying, still making large corrections, still reaching for something that tells you exactly where the remaining weakness is, it is almost always in the hip and ankle of the landing leg. Spend a little extra attention on whichever side struggles more to hold still. Once the 3C second on hold starts to feel genuinely stable, add a distraction during it. Turn your head slowly to the left, then to the right while holding still, or count backward from 10 out loud. These small additions force your balance system to maintain stability without giving it its full attention, which is a much more accurate simulation of the way real-life stumbles happen. Nobody trips when they are fully focused on their feet. The reflex has to work while your mind is somewhere else. Exercise 5. Staggered stance. Hold. This final exercise looks simple but is surprisingly demanding once you remove your vision from the picture. It trains the proprioceptive system, the network of sensors in your joints, muscles, and tendons that gives your brain information about where your body is in space, which is one of the primary inputs your saving step reflex depends on to know when and how to fire. Stand next to a sturdy chair with one hand available if you need it. Place your right foot directly in front of your left, about half a step's distance between them. Not a full lunge, just a narrow staggered position where one foot is ahead of the other rather than side by side. Find your balance in this position with your eyes open first, making sure you feel steady. Once you feel settled, cross your arms over your chest and close your eyes. Hold completely still for 20 seconds. What you will notice almost immediately are small constant corrections happening in your ankles, your hips, and your core. Your nervous system working hard to maintain balance without visual input in a stance that gives it far less margin for error than your normal wide base. That wobbling is not a problem. That wobbling is the whole point. Open your eyes at the end of 20 seconds. Step back to a normal stance. Shake out your legs for a moment, then switch feet and repeat. Do 3 holds on each side. This staggered position is important because it closely mimics the exact body position you are in mid-step when a trip occurs. 1 foot ahead, weight transferring forward, base of support narrow. By training your balance system to hold stable in this position without vision, you are rehearsing the exact scenario your saving step reflex needs to handle. Once holding 20 seconds feels genuinely comfortable and the wobbling has decreased noticeably, extend the hold to 30 seconds or place a folded towel under your front foot to add a small surface challenge that takes the training one step further. Your daily routine. Here's the simplest way to fit all 5 of these into your day without it ever feeling like a workout you have to schedule around. Do not try to do all 5 exercises every day right from the beginning. That is a good way to feel overwhelmed in the first week and quietly stop. Instead, start with just exercise 1 and exercise 2, the forward quick step and the lateral perturbation step. Practice those 2 until stepping out and catching yourself starts to feel familiar rather than alarming, until your body starts leaning into the trigger rather than pulling back from it. That shift in confidence is the sign you are ready to add the next one. It might take a few days, it might take a week or 2, either way is completely fine. Once those 2 feel solid, add the backward recovery step. Give it a few days on its own before adding exercise 4. Then bring in the step and stick, which builds directly on what the first two have already developed. Add the staggered stance hold last since it pulls everything together. Think of each exercise as a reflex snack. 60 to 90 seconds slotted into the gaps that already exist in your day. Do the forward step while your coffee brews in the morning. Do the lateral perturbation step during a commercial break. Do the backward step before you sit down for lunch. Do the step and stick while you wait for the microwave. Do the staggered stance hold in the evening when the house is quiet. The full routine, once you are doing all 5, takes no more than 10 minutes total, spread across your entire day. And that small, consistent investment is what rebuilds a reflex that fires in 1/3 of a second when you genuinely need it. And please do not skip the days when you feel completely steady. Those are actually the most important days of all. Every single repetition is sending a signal to your nervous system. Be ready, stay sharp, stay fast. You are doing the work now, so your body can protect you later in that split second when everything else depends on it. Important safety warning. Now that you have seen all 5 exercises, I want to stop before you begin and say this clearly, because your safety is the most important thing in this video, and I would never forgive myself if someone got hurt trying to follow along. These movements are different from typical balance exercises because they involve deliberately allowing your body to tip past its comfort zone. That is what makes them effective, and it is also what makes it important to approach them carefully. If you have been diagnosed with a balance disorder, Parkinson's disease, severe osteoporosis, vertigo, or any neurological condition affecting your stability, please talk to your doctor or a licensed physical therapist before attempting any of these. They may need to be modified or supervised for your specific situation, and that is completely okay. If you have had a recent fall, especially one involving an injury, do not begin this routine without medical clearance first. Your body may still be healing in ways you cannot feel yet, and pushing too soon can set you back significantly. Always keep a wall, sturdy chair, or countertop within easy reach before you start. Not because you expect to fall, but because that safety net nearby lets you train with more confidence and less tension, which actually makes every single exercise more effective. Never do these in socks on a smooth floor. Go barefoot if you can. It maximizes the sensory feedback your feet send to your brain. If you prefer footwear, choose shoes with a non-slip sole. Start every exercise smaller and shallower than you think you need to. You can always increase the lean over time. You cannot undo an injury from going too far too soon. And if at any point you feel sharp pain, sudden dizziness, or anything that simply does not feel right, stop immediately. There is no movement here worth risking an injury over. Progress at your own pace and let your body tell you when it is ready for more. Closing. The saving step is your body's final defense when ankle and hip corrections are no longer enough. It cannot prevent every loss of balance, but a faster controlled step may help turn a dangerous fall into a recoverable stumble. Most importantly, this response can be practiced and improved even later in life. Balance, however, is only half of the solution. Your reflex still needs enough leg and hip strength to support your body when the foot lands. That is why the next video focuses on safe, equipment-free leg strengthening exercises for adults over 70. It is on the screen now, and I will guide you through each movement. If this video helped you, comment 1 below. If it did not, comment 0 and tell us what would make the next video more useful. Please like, share, and subscribe for more practical senior health guidance. Thank you for watching, and here's to staying strong, steady, and independent.